Today we are going to do a one sheet wonder, and it's going to be a stamped one. So I will put all these things up later. We are going to be using crushed curry, calypso coral, cherry cobbler, garden green, granny apple green, Sahara sand. And how I chose these colours was I decided to start with crushed curry because I liked the idea of that. And so I don't know if any of you have got these. These are issued by Stamping Up, and I will be eventually putting them on my website. But I went to the crushed curry over here and I found that these three colours sort of were in line with what I was thinking. So that's how I chose the calypso coral. I then chose the garden green. I then went, I need another green, and there's a green in there. And then I was like, oh, well, I need another red to go along this line here from the crushed curry to there. So I went across and found the calypso coral on this one, which then gave me the cherry cobbler. So Stamping Up make it really easy to choose your colour coordinations. And then what I know from this is that the colours won't clash. I'm not very good with a colour wheel, and I usually tend to be off with my colour choices, so this helps me do that. So that's how I chose my colours. So I'm going to put those there. And the stamp sets we're using today are gorgeous leaves. Love this. Been dying to use it. And what it's got here is the leaves that I wanted, but it's also got some texture, and I'm going to use this texture today. So it's gorgeous leaves. I then I wanted a bigger green sprig on my design, so I went to Tasteful Touches, and I've used some of the sentiments on here for later to show you for that one. And then I wanted something autumnal to go with my leaves, so I chose this one, Enjoy the Moment. And I love how these look. And yeah, I've used a couple of the sentiments too on the things I'm going to show you later. So those were the three stamp sets I used. And then for the things I'm going to make later, I've used the dies which go with the leaves, which is called Intricate Leaf Dies. And I'll go over the dies that I've used for the cards later. So that's that. So what this is it's a design by Artful Stamping, a lady called Ruth in the UK. I've been watching her recently, and she does these amazing things. And I love to just play with inks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my largest die, stamp, and I'm going to take my main darkest colour, which is the cherry cobbler. And I'm going to start stamping. I apologise for any shaking. And the idea of this is to put something in the centre which will get cut through when you're going to do your cards. And then the main patterns for your cards that you're going to create out of this one sheet stamped wonder. Sorry if some of this is off camera. I did have my camera set up, but when you go live it doesn't allow you to use the video settings. And I'm going to wipe off the table so you don't shake around. So we've got some dark colour down with that stamp. Then I'm going to take my next stamp, which is a seed pod, and I'm going to go to my next darkest colour. Usually when I'm doing mixed media, I start light and go darker so I can add to rather than have to take away. But for this process, we start light and then dark. So what you're going to do is not worry about overlapping. When you start with your next colours, you do a first generation and then a second generation stamp off. So once you've done your middle, what I do then is I move and I start on one point in one direction. And then I turn the paper and I next go round to the next side. And I don't know if you noticed, that didn't quite stamp properly, so I've covered that a bit with what I've just done. And then I continue to turn and stamp. I actually can't now see comments, so I apologise if you are finding it hard to see. Oh, comments back on. Thank you. There we go. So that's hi Heather, hi Colleen, hi Karen, hi Andre. So once you've done that, you then are going to go to your third colour in your range. And excuse my stamp pad, I do not know what's happened to it, but it still works perfectly fine. And I'm taking the seed pods. And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to do once, twice, 3 times. I'm going to turn my page all the way over and do the same again. Now, I don't know if I'm doing this correctly, but what I know is that there's no right or wrong, is what Ruth teaches, and you just play. But what I have learned is to turn the paper as you go, because then you fill the space. The other thing with this technique is that all the stamps I'm using today are rubbed back, so I don't need to put anything underneath the paper. But when you're using the clear stamps, you do need to have some padding underneath. Otherwise, it doesn't really print as well. So I'm happy with that. And yes, everything's overstamped and everything looks a bit weird, but it works. So I go with 3 colours, and then I choose 2 greens to give me some rough foliage, and then the Sahara sand is for the backgrounds. So again, there's no rules to what you do. You can choose any colours, and the way I've started this is I've not given myself any rules at all. I've just gone for just stamping. I made some errors, I must say. Now the thing with the leaves is have yourself a baby wipe and just wipe off the stems, because then you don't get these 2 little pokey things, is all I can say it's called, on your piece of work. The other thing you can do is try and just do the leaves, but I'm not very good at that, so I do wipe off. And turn your paper, and we're just doing 2nd generation here. And I'll quickly get this down. Okay, that's that one. Now I'm going to use my gorgeous leaves, and again I'm going to use that same colour, and I have found these are a bit tricky to get ink on, and I'm doing 3 generations of stamping on this one. Doesn't matter that you go over what you've already stamped, that's all part of the appeal. So I'm happy with that. Now what I'm going to do is change to the lighter green. Oh, I love that set, yes. It's pretty cool. And so this, I'm using the grey apple green on the smaller leaf. So again, I'm not inking up the stem. And I'm just going to put random, literally random leaves in empty spaces. This is so much fun, I must say. Once you get past that, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and what if I don't get it right, it starts to be really, really cool. I'm going to switch to a different leaf. Sorry, this is this leaf. And again, just come off at the sides. Because when you cut this for your cards, you do need something on the edges. Like so. Okay. I am speeding this up a bit. Normally I just take my time and do it really mindfully and yeah, mindfully. This is a bit rushed, but I want to be able to show you what happens once you've done this part. So what I now do is I look at it and I see I've got these empty spaces. So the empty spaces, I'm going to do some texture in, and I've chosen Sahara Sand for that. And again, it's literally just stamp. Excuse the tapping. And if you haven't seen this leaf stamp set and dies, it's really, really quite cool. I'm actually going to take that Sahara Sand, and this speckles comes with the textured, oh, let me just check. No, it's actually in the leaf, gorgeous leaves as well. So for this one, I'm just going to add a few dots around too. I think my mixed media hat comes in when I'm doing this because it's like to do the textures underneath. Now, happy with that. So what you do then is you find a small-ish stamp, which is, I found this one in the seed pods, and you take your original colour and then you want to just put some highlight details in. And do it as first generation stamping. There I was stamping off. And then take your, so look at your composition, and what I'm wanting is a bit more of the yellow to come out in this because it's all a bit dark. So again, in that leaf one, you've got these 3 little leaves. So I'm just going to randomly bring some more of that yellow to the foreground. And I'm happy with that. Right. Hello, Sharon Dalton. I'm just stopping just to look over to my laptop while you all admire the one sheet stamping wonder, because for some reason you guys, oh, that might be why. I can see comments being played, but I can't see what I'm actually doing on live, so it's really weird. Okay, so this is your one sheet wonder, and I'm going to show you what I do with them. I take my sheet and I literally, can't see that on camera, cut it in half at 10.5, and then I cut each strip at 14.9. I'm working metrically because the sheet is A4 metric. And what this does is it gives you your mats for your cards. And I choose to cut that way first. Power of camera. Because you don't know what you're going to do with them yet. You don't know whether you're going to use them on a whole sheet or whether you're going to use them on cut or what they are. So each one is different. And the big decision is, which way do you put it? How's it going to look with something on it? So again, by the amazing powers of what I did earlier, I'm going to bring in some samples and talk about my process like I did before. Okay, I'm back. So once you've cut your sheets, I then take cardstock and I take each colour that I have. Now, obviously, I've used some of the colours because there's some missing. I make a card base and I cut a mat. Because what happens then is that you can take your individual bit and see how they look on a mat. Each one will be quite different, and I've only got some of the colours left. And then you can choose to either put the mat on white cardstock or you can put your mat on top of another colour, like so. So what I did earlier was I did a practice run of my one sheet wonder, and I did some cutting and got things ready. But I also did a 12 by 12 one sheet wonder, because I know some of you are scrapbookers and I am a scrapbooker, and I wanted to show you what I'd done. And I'm not sure if my camera is far enough away to show you. So what I've done is I took a 12 by 12 piece. I've ripped the bottom and the top off and put on one page. I've then taken the bit from the middle and put it on the other page to create a double layout. And then I've taken the intrinsic dies and done a lot of die cutting. And then I'm in the process now of putting leaves on, bling on, and just to highlight that paper. I've used the grey granite in the background and used mats connected with the colours that I've chosen. So I will put that up later. This one is still to be finished. I just wanted to show you the paper, but I will put leaves, more leaves around. But don't need to buy your DSP, you can make it. So that's how the scrapbook looks now. As I said, by the powers of television, I have prepared some things earlier. So this sheet, I've taken a granny apple green cardstock base and matched it with white. I've taken the scalloped contour dies and cut out the middle. And I'm going to put the mat down, put these on dimensionals, stick this in the middle, the right way around. I've got a bow and a stamp, and I've taken the matte decorative dots because these three colours match really well, and I will put those over. So that's the first one. I'll put a photo up later. This one, what I did was I took the yellow, I will put a white piece inside. I've taken those scalloped contour dies, I've cut out this bit, I've put dimensionals on the back, so I shall stick that down there. And again, you can have a wee look at how it fits, and I think this one will go really nicely this way because you've got the things going up right. I've got my little tag, and then I did a little bow watching the 1 o'clock earlier about our cases. So that's that one. I'll put photos up later. I just wanted to show you my process. This one I've chosen a white cardstock. I've chosen this is garden green, and this one I've done the opposite way. I'm going to stick the mat down. I've put my centre on dimensionals, so that will stick up. I've got my sentiment on dimensionals and a little bow, and all of this will be blinged up with the bling. So that's that one. And then I think this one might be my favourite because I think I like the cherry cobbler. White inside. I've taken the contour die and cut that out. And this I'm going to stick straight on the card because I wanted to put the sentiment as the dimensionals. And then put this beautiful big bow and lots of little dots around. So there you go. And there was, so for these sentiment dies, I've used the Tasteful Labels dies. So you get lots of those. And because of I used this piece of greenery from the stamp set that associates with these, it sort of matched up quite nicely. So I will put some photos up on my Facebook page, and with the finished photos of the cards, and hopefully I've shown you a couple of different techniques, and I think it would be really cool if we could fill our Facebook pages with one sheet stamping wonders, I'm calling it. So I will just check. Oh, looks like I've embossed it. No, I didn't emboss any of them. It's the texture. So can you see the texture stamp here? Just by using that, either a crumb cake or a really light browny colour, it does look like it's textured. But what a great idea to do some texturing. Thank you, Aunt Alice, for the feedback on the clear instructions. And I didn't time myself, but I think I've done 25 minutes on live. So I will turn the camera back round to me, and we will finish off. So just hold on a little bit. Okay. Here we go. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you like that technique.